Hi friends, in the last session we dealt with the acts and regulations of the British government, and today we will deal with the revolt of 1857. So first of all we will see the difference between the revolt of 1857 and the earlier revolts. Earlier revolts, nothing but the tribal revolts and uprisings what I have dealt in the last session. Okay. So what is the main difference between these two revolts is the earlier revolts like tribal uprisings had a very minimal cost to a point. They were to a point like the major cause of those revolts were the British will increase the tax and they will uprise. So that was the main cause of the earlier tribal revolts. So regarding this revolt of 1857, there are many causes. There are huge causes that led to the Great Revolt of 1857 and it was taken forward. So we will, first of all we will see what are the causes of 1857, revolt of 1857. When talking about the causes, I can separate the causes into different categories like economic, political, socio-religious, Sipai and the immediate cause. So dealing with this economic cause, the taxations of the British were so huge at that time, so the peasants can't afford to that rate. So that was one of the cause of the economic, and also the British policies were encouraging the goods which were imported from Britain. So the Indian goods, the Indian handicraft made goods were not that much promoted by the British. So what happened is the Indian peasants and the Indians, they lost their employment. So unemployment was created because of this economic reasons. So this is about the economic reason. Next we are going to the political. When you are dealing with political, you should know about two personalities. One is Nana Sahib and the next one is Bahadur Shah. So who is this Nana Sahib and who is this Bahadur Shah and what happened to them? Nana Sahib is nothing but the son of last Peshwa Bajirao II. Okay, last Peshwa. Peshwa means Maratha. Okay, I have explained about the Marathas and the Peshwas. So Nana Sahib is nothing but the son of last Peshwa Bajirao II. So what happened is, according to a treaty with Bajirao II and the British has to pay some pensions to Bajirao II. When Bajirao was dead, his son Nana Sahib, pensions has to be transferred to Nana Sahib. But this didn't happen. Okay, the pensions of Nana Sahibs were curtailed by the British. So that was one of the reasons. And next is Bahadur Shah. Bahadur Shah is nothing but the last Mughal emperor. What happened is, his family was staying in Red Fort. So British came and told that it is all over, you should not stay in Red Fort, get out. So that was also the reason, the political reason. So you can easily remember, right? Because Nana Sahib is the son of last Peshwa and Bahadur Shah is the last Mughal. Maratha and Mughal both were last in some terms. You can remember easily. Also, another one cause is Jhansi and Awadh. Okay, these two places were annexed. Annexed by whom? Lord Dalhousie. I told when Lord Dalhousie is there, and when we are talking about the annexation of Lord Dalhousie, surely he should have annexed the principle of doctrine of lapse. I have explained what is doctrine of lapse in my last lessons. So by this doctrine of lapse, Jhansi was annexed, but Awadh was annexed under the reason of misgovernment. So both were annexed. So what with Awadh is the home of many soldiers. So when Awadh was annexed, it flamed. The revolt was taken to the next level when Awadh was annexed. This is about the political cause. Next we will deal with the socio-religious. In socio-religious, the first one is the Christian missionaries, the spread of the Christian missionaries. The Christian missionaries at that time spreaded like anything, and they went to the Hindu houses and they began the conversion process. So this something it was breaking for the Indian Hindu beliefs and faith systems. So that was one cause. Also, the temple lands and the mosque were not taxed before. But during this 1857 time, the temple lands and mosque began to tax. So that was also another problem. Also, you could have studied Sati was abolished, social reforms like Sati, female infanticide, child marriage, widow remarriage, these all things were regulated or reformed with the help of British. So what the Indians thought is, mainly the Hindus thought is, the British are interfering in our social religious customs. So the reforms of social movements were thought by the Indians as the something interference in the faith of the Indian Hindu belief. That was also another socio-religious belief. Now we are coming to the important thing called Sepoy. Who is a Sepoy? Sepoy are soldiers, right? It is being told that Sepoy is the peasants in uniform. Sepoys are termed as the peasants in uniform. Peasants mean normally rural. Okay, that was the main cause of this revolt of 1857. When the revolt was started in a rural portion, then the revolt, what the frequency or the what will be the wavelength of the revolt reach. Okay, so the Sepoys normally began to the rural area. So when the Sepoys started, actually this revolt of 1857, it was started by the Sepoys. They were the initial cause. So they were from rural areas, right? So when rural area starts burning, the whole India should burn, right? So that was the reason. So now we'll see what are the reasons. Okay. An act called General Enlistment Act was passed by Dalhousie during the period of Dalhousie. So what is this General Enlistment Act is? By this act, any soldier can work in any province or any place over the India. Before and all, the soldiers were used to work in around Delhi because the crown is there only. So the governor general will be placed in Delhi or somewhere in Bengal. So they used to work in Delhi or Bengal only. So by this Enlistment Act, any soldiers can be, if a soldier is told to work in Punjab or Sindh or cross overseas and go foreign, they had to do by this act. So this act caused some disturbances for the soldiers because the Hindus at that time had a belief. When Hindu soldier is crossing the seas and going overseas, it was against their belief. It is like they are they are against their caste systems. So this was the belief of Hindus at that time. So it was something into the belief of the Hindus. Okay. Also, the Hindu soldiers used to put some religious marks and all at that time. It was completely abolished or banned by the English. This is also another Sepoy cause. Also, I told about the annexation of Awadh, right? Awadh is the homeland of many soldiers. When Awadh is being annexed, automatically the revolt would have went to the next level. Okay. Now we'll see about the immediate cause. What led to the immediate cause is something should spark it, right? These are all the causes, but one thing sparked this is this one. Enfield rifle. Enfield rifle is nothing but a gun. Okay. There is cartridge. Cartridge is nothing but a shell containing the load. Okay, the piston. This is a shell containing the load. This load has to be loaded in this gun and it should be triggered. Okay. This cartridge is made up of a grease. So what happened is the grease is made from fat of pig and beef. So Hindus don't consume pig and beef. Okay. In those days I am saying. So this was against the belief. It entirely went inside the belief and faith of the Hindus. So this began as the main cause of the revolt. This cartridge has to, the cartridge is surrounded with the grease and they have to bite this cartridge because inside the shell only the load is there, right? They have to bite the shell and they should load it. When they are biting, as usual, the grease is there, right? The grease is made up of fat and pig. It's like they are consuming the fat of pig and beef. So it entirely went wrong. Also, one comedy here is this Enfield. They protested for this Enfield rifle only, but in later parts when they are revolting against the British, they use this Enfield rifle. That was a great comedy of this. They protested for this, but in later parts they used this against the British also. So this is about the causes. I will deal with the economic, political, and what happened to the religious, and the Sepoy are the main because they are the one who initiated the revolt. Now we are going into the beginning. Okay. Where the revolt started and how it went through. So we have finished about the causes. Next about the beginning. The revolt began on May 10, 1857 at a place called Meerut. Meerut is a place very close to Delhi, approximately some 50 kilometers you can say. So the revolt started here. You can ask me whether there were any reporting before this May 10, 1857. Yeah, there was many reporting because the many sepoys refused to use this cartridges. So there are many reports. One of the famous reports was an officer called Mangal Pandey. He is from 34th Cavalry. it means a unit number, right? Okay, he is from 34th Infant Cavalry in a place called Barakpur, right? Okay, I'll write the place. The place called Barakpur. Mangal Pandey, what happened is he shot at an English officer. He went a step forward and he shot at the European officer. And this is very famous. Mangal Pandey was very famous. Okay. Actually, the revolt started in Meerut. Actually, the whole revolt started in Meerut only. But in Barakpur, the seats were sown. Right? Don't confuse. Now we will go into how the revolt took place. Okay. How the revolt was taken forward. By April 24, 1857, 90 men of 3rd Cavalry, I told no, he is from 34th. So 3rd Cavalry unit, they told that we can't use the cartridge, we can't use the Enfield rifle. So what happened is the British took action on them and they were imprisoned. On April 25, all the 90 men were imprisoned in the British jails. By May 9, 1857, all the imprisoned Indian soldiers were rescued by other Indian soldiers and they went and killed the European officials who were present there. Okay. In Meerut. This happened in Meerut. Okay. They killed the European officials there and under the leadership of a general called General Bakht Khan, these all things are happening. After killing the officials at Meerut and initially registering a victory over Meerut, what happened is all the soldiers under the leadership of General Bakht Khan, they marched to Delhi. Delhi, I told, very near to Meerut, 50 km only. So they marched to Delhi. Okay. This is the starting of the revolt. From here only the pace took off, right? Now we'll see how this revolt spread to the other provinces or other regions. Okay. Now we'll see about the spread of revolt. We have finished about the beginning, right? Spread of revolt is nothing but first we will see in Delhi. I told because from Meerut the soldiers first came to Delhi, right? Under the leadership of General Bakht Khan. So what happened is when the soldiers from Meerut were coming to Delhi, the local soldiers will be here, no, Delhi. They greeted them and they joined and they killed the European officials in Delhi also. Okay. Also, there was a Mughal emperor, I told Bahadur Shah. Bahadur Shah was a Mughal emperor in Delhi. So he was proclaimed as the leader of the revolt. He was very old and feeble, but still there are no authority. So all the soldiers did is they told Bahadur Shah, you come and sit in the throne. Then he was sat in the throne and initially in Delhi also victory was registered. So you can see Bahadur Shah is a nominal head of the, he was nominal power in Delhi, but the real power lied in General Bakht Khan as far as Delhi is concerned. Bahadur Shah, he is the leader of the entire revolt. He is proclaimed as a leader, right? But in Delhi, the real power was with the General Bakht Khan. He is the leader of the revolt at Delhi. Bahadur Shah is also there. Okay. So initially the victories were flown in Delhi. But what happened in later parts is later suppression happened, right? The revolt was suppressed. Who suppressed? An officer called John Nicholson is mainly responsible for the suppression of revolt at Delhi. Okay. What happened to Bahadur Shah? Bahadur Shah was taken as prisoner and he was deported to Rangoon and he was reportedly told he has died. Okay, from in Rangoon. General Bakht Khan, what happened to General Bakht Khan? He was died while defending Delhi itself. Okay. This is with Delhi. I have told how the revolt spread in Delhi and what is the result in Delhi. Now we are going to the next UP. Regions in UP. Okay. These regions are in UP only. First we will talk about Kanpur. So regarding Kanpur, I told already Nana Sahib. Don't confuse. Bahadur Shah is with Delhi and Nana Sahib is with Kanpur. He is a Maratha, he is a Mughal. So you may ask, Nana Sahib, Maratha's territory is actually Maharashtra, Pune, right? He is from Maharashtra. How he went to Kanpur, UP? Actually, Nana Sahib was residing in Pune only. When the revolt happened and the British curtailed his pensions, he got very much aggravated and he left the titles, family titles, everything, and he went to Kanpur and he started the revolt. He proclaimed himself as the Nawab of Kanpur and the revolt was taken forward in Kanpur under the leadership of Nana Sahib. And another one important personality concerned with Kanpur or concerned with Nana Sahib is Tantiya Tope. He is the general of Nana Sahib and he was closely associated with Nana Sahib. Okay, this is about Kanpur. And Kanpur also, the revolt was successfully suppressed. Initially victories, but later parts successfully suppressed by the British. So what happened to Nana Sahib is, he is reportedly told to escape to Nepal. He escaped to Nepal. Because revolt is suppressed, right? He should escape somewhere. He escaped to Nepal and Tanjai Tope to the jungles of central India. Tanjai Tope was told that after 2 years, she was dead. She was killed by the British actually. So this with Kanpur, I told who was the leader and how it went on, what is the conclusion. It was suppressed. Okay. Now we'll see the next. We'll see Lucknow. Okay, what happened in Lucknow? All these regions were in UP only. In Lucknow, a queen called Hazrat Mahal. Hazrat Mahal Begum and his son Qadir. Okay, his son is Qadir. What happened is, Hazrat Mahal Begum is nothing but the wife of Nawab of Awadh. His son is Qadir. So what happened is, after the death of the Nawab of Awadh, Qadir was placed in the throne. So an English official called Lawrence, with this British troop, he went and resided at Lucknow. So the tussle started between the Qadir, his son, and this Lawrence. So what happened is, the tussle was happening between these two, the British and the Nawab family, and finally this Lawrence was killed by Qadir, and thus the revolt started there. Because everywhere revolt is happening, their cause is like they killed Lawrence and the revolt was taken forward in Lucknow. So what happened in Lucknow? First they killed Lawrence and first it was victorious only, but later it was suppressed by the British very successfully. An officer called Colin Campbell, he suppressed the revolt at Lucknow. What happened to Hazrat Mahal Begum? She was also reportedly escaped to Nepal. Okay, it was suppressed by an officer called Colin Campbell at Lucknow, and Hazrat Mahal Begum escaped to Nepal. This is with Lucknow. Next, we are going to see a place called Jhansi. Right, Jhansi. When talking about Jhansi, you might have come across this famous personality called Rani Lakshmi Bai. Till nowadays, they used to refer the women as Rani Lakshmi Bai, be like Rani Lakshmi Bai, because she had that much power and value at that time. Okay, Rani Lakshmi Bai in Jhansi. What happened is, his husband is Raja Rao, Ganga Raja Rao. They had some adopted son. Okay, adopted son. What happened is, Rani Lakshmi Bai wanted her adopted son to ascend the throne, but Dalhousie didn't recognize this adopted son to the throne. Okay, because I told Lord Dalhousie's principle is doctrine of lapse. By doctrine of lapse, adopted son was not recognized by Dalhousie. So the tussle started in that way. That was the cause of the tussle, and the revolt was taken forward by under the leadership of Rani Lakshmi Bai. She was a brilliant Sipai. Okay, he was equal to men. She's a woman, but his fightings and the way she fought was very more than the men power. Okay, what happened to Rani Lakshmi Bai is, I told about Tanjai Tope. When talking about Kanpur, I told Tanjai Tope is the general of Nana Sahib. Rani Lakshmi Bai was assisted by Tanjai Tope also. With help of Tanjai Tope, they annexed a place called Gwalior. And Rani Lakshmi Bai had a huge support of African soldiers at that time. And Rani Lakshmi Bai and Tanjai Tope, with help of Tanjai Tope, Rani Lakshmi Bai annexed Gwalior. But it was recaptured by the British later. That is the next story. It was recaptured. What happened to Jhansi is, an officer called Hugh Rose, he suppressed the revolt at Jhansi. So you can see easily, initially they were victorious and later it was suppressed by all the British officials, right? Next we'll see about some two regions. One is Bihar. In Bihar, an personality called Kunwar Singh is nothing but an zamindar actually. What happened to him is, his estate was abdicated by the British without his knowledge. So he started the revolt. Actually, they had many causes, right? That was not a unity causes. Whatever the cause, the revolt was started there. So Kunwar Singh is zamindar. When something's happening to him, he started the revolt. That's it. Next, in a place called Bareilly, an officer called Khan Bahadur Khan. He was proclaimed as the Nawab of Bareilly and he took for the revolt. Okay. One important point about Khan Bahadur Khan is he is the only one who informed the British earlier that a revolt is going to happen against you. He is the one fellow who warned the English officials earlier itself. So this is about the spread of the revolt. I have told how the revolt began and how it spread to the different parts of India. I think you would have observed something in here because I told about every regions were concerned about Delhi or near to Delhi or maximum to UP this side. But I have not talked about South and all. I will say about, because that was a limitation of Revolt of 1857 that I will talk later. Okay. Now we will see what are the causes. I told in everywhere the revolt was suppressed and by which official. That is very important. Okay. Please note down the officials' names because in government exams they used to ask who was the English official responsible for the suppression of the revolt in which regions and all. So make note of it. Causes we will now deal with. Okay. Causes of suppression of revolt. First cause is the participation. Participation is what? The princely states, they didn't participate itself. They didn't participate either they participated in the behalf of the British. Okay, that was the main reason. When the princes were not participating, there was not unity among the people. That was the second thing. There are no unity among the people. That was another causes of the suppression. And the next one is no leader. Of course, Bahadur Shah was the leader of the revolt, but he was very old and nobody had a vision of what was happening next. They came, they just acquired the territory and flags will be flown there to span of 1 week. Next, English will come and they will annex it. This is what happened in the revolt. They didn't know what next to happen, what next to go. The vision was not clear for the soldiers. That was the main reason. Also, they were not equipped. The Indian soldiers were not equipped. They didn't that much arms. When compared to the British, they didn't have that much arms to protest against the territory. That was the main reason. On the other hand, the British were well equipped actually. They had very, as the British army, about the British army, they were well equipped at that time. Also, the main advantage for the British is they had telegraph at that time. Okay. So, with the help of telegraph, what happened is they used to inform where the revolt is happening and who is taking forward. Like that, they used to communicate easily. But in Indians, they don't have anything. They didn't have any mode for communication, right? So that was the main this spread of this for the cause of the suppression. Also, I told when I'm talking about the regions, I told we talked about the regions only with Delhi or surrounding Delhi or maximum to UP. Southern parts, what happened? Southern parts, they didn't know itself. They're just there. They didn't know the revolt is happening. So the revolt was not spread to the southern or the western parts. Okay, that was also the main cause for suppression. These are the causes of suppression. Okay, the revolt is suppressed. That's okay, fine. But we should have some advantages, right? We should have some benefit. As everyone used to say, if there is a failure, you should learn from that failure. So, what are the learnings we had from the benefit of the revolt? We'll say as benefit. Okay, what are the benefits we had? The first main benefit is the confidence. It gave the Indians immense confidence that when we are united and we are having a good unity, or when we all are united, we can easily tackle the British. This confidence was given by this revolt only, because either before 1857 they didn't have this confidence to protest against their masters itself. But by the success, initially it was success. Revolt of 1857 initially it was success. So by this success, what happened is the confidence got very much maximum, went to the maximum of this for the Indian soldiers. Also, the British didn't expect this from the Indians. Okay, they told that they was thinking that Indians will react. The Indians won't react. But in 1857, seeing the reaction of the Indians, the British got that we should be careful with the Indian administration hereafter. Okay, what happened later changes, we'll talk later parts. The confidence. Second benefit is about the Hindu-Muslim unity. The Hindu-Muslim unity were at the peak at that time. Okay, Hindu-Muslim unity were at very maximum to the very maximum. So some incidents are there. With that we can conclude, because Bahadur Shah, who is Bahadur Shah? He's a Mughal emperor. Mughal means Muslims, right? You see, many Hindus are there. Nana Sahib is there. He's a Maratha. When the Mughal was unanimously selected as a leader, nobody opposed Bahadur Shah. Right? Everybody was in the mood that, okay, Bahadur Shah, he can go. Let he be the leader. All the Hindus accepted unanimously. So from that incident we can say that the Hindu-Muslim unity were at super, the relationship were super. Also, one thing, when the revolt happened, what they did is, the next moment after the victory, the cow slaughter was banned. In all the places when they emerged victorious, the next thing they did is, they banned all the cow slaughters. For Hindus, right? They will not eat cows and all Hindus. So what they did is, they stopped all the cow slaughtering places. So the Muslims also accepted this. The Muslims also closed their shops. Muslims were accepting the Hindu thing, and Hindus were accepting the Muslim things. That was the things happening there. Also, to some advantages, what happened is Nana Sahib. Nana Sahib is a Maratha ruler. Okay, he had a general called Azimullah. He is a Muslim. He worked very closely with Nana Sahib, and he helped Nana Sahib too much. Okay. Also, another incident is Jhansi Rani. I told Rani Lakshmi Bai of Jhansi. She was supported by Afghan soldiers. Afghan soldiers are Muslim. Rani Lakshmi Bai is a Hindu. So she had the support of the Muslim. So from that we can say the Hindu-Muslim unity started off. It was at a very good pace. Now we'll see about the administrative. As I already said that the British didn't expect this from the Indians. They thought that Indians will be remaining silent only. But when the revolt happened, we'll see administrative changes. The first change is, I told already, when dealing with acts and regulations, we had company rule to crown rule. So what is this company rule is? Earlier the British main aim is to trade with India only. So they had many acts and regulations in favor of the company. The British were not directly responsible in India at that time. But after 1857 revolt, what happened is, the Britain became directly responsible for the British administration in the Indian territories. Okay, that is the crown rule. So the shift of power from company rule to crown rule. So Queen Victoria was proclaimed as the direct responsibility for the Indian administration. It was said that a lavish darbar was happened for this function, proclamation of Queen Victoria at Allahabad. A lavish darbar was held. All these are happening under the Governor General of Lord Canning at that time. Okay, so this was the main thing. Also, one important point is, I told no, double government was there earlier. Board of Control, Court of Directors. If you have any doubt about this, you can clarify in my last sessions. I have dealt with in detail about the Pitch India Act. This Board of Control and Court of Directors, both the posts were abolished, and a new post called Secretary of State. Who is the Secretary of State? He is a member of the British Parliament in India. He will be in India. He is directly responsible to the Britain Parliament. He is a member of the Britain Parliament. So he will go there. If any questions about India was asked in the Parliament, he will answer it. So a post called Secretary of State was created. This was the first administrative change. Second one, administrative decentralization. What is the British actually promised after 1857? We will take forward the administration of the India. So first such step is administrative decentralization. Decentralization means dividing the powers from central to all the provinces, equally divided. So what happened? Creation of local bodies like Panchayat Raj we are having now. No, at that time district boards were created. So local bodies were created because of this administrative decentralization. Local bodies. These reforms are taken forward by who? Lord Ripon. Lord Ripon is called the father of local self-government. He is the one who is responsible for the creation of this district boards, local bodies, and the order in which it was followed now. It was laid by Lord Ripon. So this is about administrative decentralization. Another thing happened is financial decentralization. Earlier it was administrative, now it's financial, because the provinces were allowed to use the taxes levied from their provinces. Before and all, the taxes were levied and it will be given to the center, and from there they are dependent on the center. Okay, the province governors will be dependent on the center, like give me the rupees or give me the fund and all. Now it was decentralized. Like they are directly, they can collect the taxes from their provinces and they can utilize that. That was financial decentralization. And one important official called Lord Mayo, he is responsible for this act. Also, Lord Mayo is known as the father of financial decentralization. Lord Mayo here, and here Lord Ripon is known as the father of local self-government. So, I told about this. Now, we are going into the next change. What happened? Next change happened in the army. So, what happened in the army is, because army should be the main reform, okay, because it started from here, right? The revolt of 1857 started from this Sepoy Mutiny only. It is a Sepoy Mutiny. It started from the Sepoys only. So, many changes were done in the army, right? European branches were very well recognized at that time. The Indian branches were not that much recognized when compared to the European branches. Because the Europeans, they cheated, right? So, the European branches, they were promoted and they were given the high rankings, promotions, high departments like artilleries, everything was given to the European branches, not to the Indians. Indians were merely made as soldiers, right? All high branches and high rankings went to the European. Also, one important point is the Sikhs, about the Sikhs. Sikhs participated in the revolt of 1857 in favor of the British. Okay, so to give prizes to their loyalty, Sikhs participated in the behalf of British, right? So, to give prize for the loyalty, what they did is, I told no, Indian officers were made as mere soldiers. So, that soldiers were recruited from the Sikhs. Sikhs were mainly recruited. Many Sikhs were recruited into the Indian army. You can still see now, today, at present, in the Indian army, you can see there will be many Sikhs. So, the main reason for that is because of this revolt of 1857 only, we are having many Sikhs. You can see many general, Dalbir Singh Suha, we will have every general as Sikhs only. Okay, that is the main reason for that. This is with army. Now, we are going to the another administrative changes with civil services. Okay, I already told when dealing with acts, I told civil services exams was held in London at that time. Okay. And Satyendra Prasad Tagore is first Indian to clear the civil services. See, Satyendra Prasad Tagore is a bro of Rabindranath Tagore. He is the first Indian to clear the civil services exam. So, what happened is, by Act of 1833, I have dealt about this civil service exam clearly in the Acts and Regulations. If you have any doubts, you can go to my previous videos. What happened is, in 1833, they are planning for an Indian civil service exam. And Indians, the door should be opened for the Indians. But in 1833, it didn't happen. But in 1853, doors were opened. So, by that time, I told Satyendranath Tagore was the first Indian to clear the civil service exam. So, they are finding that the Indians, by clearing this exam, they are going to high posters. So, the British decided to minimize these levels, minimize the Indians taking the civil service exam. So, first step, one step was done by them. The age was reduced from 23 to 19. This is the maximum age. Okay, maximum age was 23 earlier. Now it was reduced to 19. See you can compare now the maximum age of civil service exam and with those times. If now with this change is happening, you know what will the fate. Okay, it was changed from 23 to 19 actually. It was the British were in the mood that when we lower the maximum age, the Indians' participation will become minimum. That was the aim of the British officials. Nextly, about the main thing is about the princely states. So, what happened to the princely states is, actually when you are reading modern India, you will come across a point, right? In British will annex everywhere. They will do. They will frustrate. They will brutally attack the Indians. But the princely states like Raja of Travancore, Raja of Mysore, they are not affected itself in the international movement. You may have a question: why these princely states are not disturbed or annexed by the British at that time? Because the Rajas were given their own power. Of course, they are dependent on the British only, but they were given the powers. They are not disturbed at all. So, what is the main reason for that is because of this revolt of 1857 only. Because I told Sikhs were participating in the revolt in favor of British. Like the same way, the princely states, the Rajas of these princely states were in favor of the British. Okay, either they didn't participate itself or either they participated in the favor of the British. So, also to reward them for their loyalty, what they have shown for the British, what the British thought is, they changed the mode, okay, from annexation to punishment. Okay, if any Raja if any Raja is not in favor of British or going wrong against the order, is what they will do is they will not annex. They will not annex. They will just punish this Raja and they will live as like that, because they have helped in this revolt of 1857 in favor of British, right? So they were being rewarded. Also, another thing is social reforms. We have talked about earlier about the social reforms. Before 1857, the English were more concentrated about dismantling these Hindu beliefs or making the upliftment of the social, upliftment of the religious beliefs of the Hindus. Like that, they were concentrated. But after this 1857, that all actions were given away by the British officials, because that was one of the reasons, right? So why to go into the Hindu beliefs and make sati and female infanticide? Why to concentrate on social reforms? So after this 1857, the social reform movements went down. British were not concentrating on this social reforms. Okay, so that is about the administrative changes. And with that, we are coming to the end of this revolt of 1857. And next, we are going to see about a small mutiny which happened in a place called Vellore. It's a very small mutiny actually, but you have to know. We'll see the cause, leader, and suppression. Cause is because of a personality called Cradlock. He is the official who told or who encouraged the Indian soldiers to wear a hat. This hat idea was taken from the European soldiers. Okay, earlier the Sikhs and others used to have some turbans. The turbans was replaced by the hat. This discriminated the Indian belief, and now the revolt started in Vellore. Okay, the leader is Futteh Haidar. Futteh Haidar is nothing but the son of Tipu Sultan. Okay, Mysore Raja. Futteh Haidar is the son of Tipu Sultan. So what happened is he is proclaimed as a leader. Actually, if a revolt is to happen, they need some place to organize, like get together, right? So what happened is Futteh Haidar's marriage was fixed as the place of organization for the sepoys. At Futteh Haidar's marriage, all the soldiers they organized, because the British also used to come to the marriages, because Futteh Haidar is the Raja of Mysore, right? So Mysore and British were at the good relationship at that time. So British also came to this marriage, and the soldiers also came organized on the marriage, and the revolt was taken from there. Okay, and successfully Vellore Fort, still now it is there. Vellore Fort was annexed successfully by the Indian officials. First of all, initially, like the revolt of 1857, initially it was success, but later it was suppressed successfully by the British. So who suppressed this? Colonel Gillespie. He is the English official mainly responsible for the suppression of Vellore Mutiny. So remember these general names regarding 1857, also regarding what regions, who suppressed and how they suppressed. Okay, in Vellore Mutiny also, these three names are very important: Cradlock, Futteh Haidar, and Colonel Gillespie. That is with Vellore Mutiny, and we have finished about the revolt of 1857 and the Vellore Mutiny. Next, we will go in the next session. We will go into the formation of INC. Thank you.